That's right. It is another podcast here on Nerds at Night, Drunk Bantha's channel. And I am your favorite cousin, Bill, and this is the Bantha Bunch Show. Tonight we talking about the craziest shit, but you know how it goes. We always talking shit. That's right. Let's go. Shout out to everybody watching on all the channels. Shout out to everybody watching on Twitter. Shout out to everybody watching on Nerds at Night, Drunk Bantha's channel. What's good? Let me light this clove up real quick. Let's go. How y'all doing out there in the world? Shout out to you. It's good to hear from y'all. Good to see y'all. Even though I don't see nobody. You know what I mean? It's good. What's good? Oh, yeah, I forgot. You know what? Like I said, I am your favorite cousin, Bill. Welcome. Never been here before. Punch yourself in the face. And when you wake up, tell your friends. Tell your friends about me. Oh, man. The light is not looking good for the penny cam today. We might not do that today then. Look at her. Light's looking terrible. But you know how it is. Y'all. Sometimes it's a little bit slow over here with the production. But maybe we'll get Penny back. Maybe not. I'll have to get up maybe at some point in time anyway. You know what I mean? I'll have to get up at some point in time. But what's happening, y'all? Today is a good day for me. I don't know how it was for y'all, but I vocked out with my pock out. You know what I'm talking about? It's been a good... Man, this autofocus keeps messing up everything here. But yeah, man, I've had such a crazy good week. Shout out to everybody out there who is having a good week. Shout out to you if you're not having a good week, because what I want is for you to have a good week going forward. It's almost Friday, baby. You know what I'm talking about? It's almost Friday. It's Friday somewhere. Shout out to anybody watching around the world. I know we should have some people watching. We got everybody pouring in right now. Come on in here and get this word. You know what I mean? This is the Bantha Bunch Show. I am your favorite cousin, Bill. I've said that twice now, or maybe 3 times. Tonight we're going to be talking about Mr. McMahon Documentary on Netflix. We're going to be talking about a little bit about Monsters Documentary on Netflix. And we're going to be talking about my addiction to Netflix. No. And also we're going to be talking about a little bit about the Diddy Report. But don't get it twisted. We still got more shit to talk about because the Eric Adams situation just blew up my whole week of preparation for this show. So yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. A lot is an understatement. I usually have just a few things to talk about, but not tonight, man. Not tonight. It's going down. I usually have to try to basically every week figure it out on the fly and try to how is the best way to say it? Well, basically, I try not to come in here and wing it as best as I can. But sometimes it don't work out that way. So, yeah, man. Don't have really a lot to contribute with the Diddy stuff tonight. I just want to make sure we talk about how, well, I don't know if y'all heard, but your boy Puffy, his lawyer was out there today talking about, was it today? Yeah, it was today or last night, talking about how he doesn't believe that there was 1,000 bottles of lube out there. Lil Frothy is in the chat. She said, hello from Berlin. Hello. Yeah, for everybody who's normally here in the chat, we got started a little late today. Because I had to go get some clove cigarettes. Go get some cloves. Don't smoke and drink responsibly. But then also I was watching this Menendez brothers documentary or biopic, and then I'm also trying to catch up on this Eric Adams news and get my latest Diddy news. Like, this has been a big day. It's been a wild day, but shout out to all the new subscribers and shout out to all the new members on the Drunk Bantha's channel, and shout out to all the new subscribers over on Nerds at Night, man. Appreciate y'all. So shout out to everybody over on Twitter. On Nerds at Night, y'all are killing it. Appreciate y'all. If you're not on those, go check it out. Now, what I want to talk about first, though, is the Diddy stuff. Like, he was asking, his lawyer was talking about how, I think it was on TMZ, lawyer was talking about how he doesn't believe it was 1,000 bottles of lube. He believes that is an over-exaggeration, and it is that it has nothing to really do with the case. And I'm like, yo, how in the hell can you say that they probably didn't have 1,000 bottles of lube? I mean, why would they pull that number out of thin air, especially in talking about lube and baby oil? But never you mind that, right? Let's just say he goes on about, like, basically under the guise of, well, okay, they did find baby oil. Like, what's that got to do with anything? He found baby oil. Like, he got them all at Costco. Like, you can't go to Costco and get a whole bunch of stuff. You ever seen some of the things people come out of Costco with? He said as he grinned. And apparently they looked into it, and apparently Costco does not sell big bottles of baby oil. Get the fuck out of here, right? Look, let me say it again. Costco does not sell big old bottles of baby oil.
Well, why you booing me? I'm right.
I don't know why they don't, but they made it clear that they don't. Oh, man, I'm telling you, this thing just gets better and better and better. It's the gift that keeps on giving. There was some other things that came out, but it's all kind of speculative, and I've done enough speculating on this show. Yes, Fifth Bantha, Lil Frothy is in Berlin. And hey, what's up, Gers and Purrs? Gers and Purrs says, hey, Lil Frothy and Fifth Bantha. Hey, Bill. Yes. We're all in here now. We got probably some more day ones trickling in. My phone is hooked up to the soundboard right now, so I can't go on Twitter and see who's on Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, say hello. Say what's up. Come on. And retweet this so that your friends can see it. But anyway, yeah, there was a lot of speculation on my part based on evidence that we were able to dig up here about a gentleman who I can't remember his name right now. I think it's Jonathan Duddy. Anyway, he was he was the guy we talked about. If y'all remember, he was the guy who was shooting up a Trump hotel and had the American flag wrapped around him and was shooting inside. Didn't hurt anybody, didn't try to hurt anybody, but he seemingly wanted to be arrested from what we could tell in the video. And then he went on to accuse Diddy of being a sex trafficker and having been one of Diddy's sex slaves. I guess if I have to say that again, I'm just going to be saying sex slav. Okay. So just to keep it, just try to keep it PG. But yeah, PG 17, PGMA, TVMA. Is this TVMA? Is this show TVMA, or would this be NC-17, or what is this? What? Put it in the comment. Let me know. But yeah, we we talked about how this guy was arrested in, I believe it was 2018, 2022, sometime in the, I can't remember all these dates. Oh man, I've been reading indictments. So we don't know exactly when this guy would have been like a quote unquote escaped slave, or a slave, a sex slave that was used and then got passed on, or was, but we do know what he's alleged. Whatever the situation was, we don't exactly know, but we know what he has alleged. And he alleged that he was held against his will while having to perform flexible acts with Diddy and Cassie. And according to him, this is all alleged, but he also said that he was performing sexual flexible acts on DJ Khaled and Rick Ross and some other people. So yeah, there's a lot of that coming out and bubbling up. I'm not going to talk about that tonight, because I'm not even going to really bring it up again until it becomes relevant to this case, because we've already talked about that here. And if you want to see some of that, go back and look at the Dumb Diddy episode, or the what was the other episode called, y'all? The Diddy Report. Go look at those episodes, because we really do go over it in pretty finite detail. And when I say finite, fine-tooth comb type deal, when I say that, you realize that that's not true, right? You've seen this show before, right? Or if you haven't, it's not going to be that it's not going to be that detailed. But we do go through some of the bullshit, right? We try to here, just to, keep it light, because honestly, none of these stories are very light. None of this is light. A lot of this stuff is very heavy, and a lot of people's lives are being affected by it negatively. There's no one in this situation that I think is dealing with this in a positive way, or no one that it affects in a positive way. So I do try to only focus on the things that we can talk about that's hilarious here. Just so you know, that is my disclaimer for how crazy it's about to get. Flexible. I don't know how I'm supposed to say murder 100. I'm gonna just call you 100 right now, okay, till I get confirmation on this. 100 says flexible acts is wild. Fire emojis. Hey man, I was just trying to make sure YouTube don't get me. You know what I'm saying? Because don't got me, get me. But no, YouTube don't get me, got me, please. But anyway. Oh yeah, what up, Film Age? What up? And Murderer, shout out to you, Murderer. Appreciate you putting the comments down on here, man. I appreciate it. You know why? Because people be afraid sometimes. I feel like people don't want to People want to comment. But anyway, my question really is like, if because we speculated on that stuff, is like, what is it that's going to come out next? I'm not going to speculate on the sex slave stuff. I'm not even going to speculate on any of that because we've talked enough about that, right? What I'm going to speculate here is, you heard it here first now. I think that Diddy can't do anything but snitch, right? Like, these are his options. He can take a plea and go to jail for the rest of his life, or almost the rest of his life, basically, practically the rest of his life. Or he can snitch on somebody that gets him out of jail in like 7 years, 5 years. And there's a third option, but we're not going down there. That's not the road we're going down there. So yeah, he's got those two options. But the thing is, who are you going to tell on? If you're fucking Sean Combs, who is there to tell on? You're as big as it really gets, right? When you're going up totem poles, no freaky. But when you're going up totem poles, excuse me, that didn't sound good. That was nasty. When you're going up totem poles, you don't get much higher than Diddy, right? I am here to give you one person that's higher than Diddy, or a few people that are higher than Diddy. And I'm not going to say no names, but we're just going to say, I believe that Diddy, his most likely move after this, if it is to tell on someone, is he's going to be telling on the BMF. Now, people probably like, man, Bill, what in the F are you talking about? I think that he is going to snitch on the Black Mafia family. People are like, why? Why do you feel that way? I think that in certain circles, in the hip hop YouTube circles for sure, and hip hop Twitter circles, everybody is aware that Diddy has had many associations with BMF. And I think that he is going to tell on them to get out of this. Now, what could he possibly give them that would be greater than the crimes that he is suffering or is faced with, rather? Being that it's a racketeering charge, the only kind of charges he'd be able to get off the only kind of evidence that he could be able to present to them that would get him off for the crimes that he's been presented are murder. And I don't want to speculate it here, but it's all on the internet if you want to go out there and find it. Yeah, but those are his only options, is to pin some murder or finger somebody for a murder. No freaky. That's, to me, the only possible way for him to get out. Like I said, I think he's going to snitch on BMF. He has those type of connections family-wise and his entire time growing up as an adult, like let's just say since 16 till maybe like 40, 38, right around the time he met Cassie. He was still involved with these guys. I just think that that's his only course of action right now. Murder says, do you think Diddy's son, King Combs, will follow in his father's footsteps? X10 being inspired and motivated with the fuel of revenge. Times 10. times 10, excuse me. So yeah, what Murder was asking is, do we think Diddy's son, his rap name is King Combs? Will he follow in his father's footsteps, times 10, being inspired and motivated with the fuel of revenge? And I have to say, maybe, but his sons are named in this indictment as well. And they were arrested when they, or were they arrested? They were detained. I don't want to say that they were arrested, but because I don't remember exactly. What was it, 6 months ago? I don't remember exactly, but they were looking at the boys as well, both sons, not just King Combs. And King Combs also said stupidly in a beef record that that the FBI searched the wrong house in doing a diss track towards 50 Cent. Now, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Well, we talked about it here, and basically, save you some trouble, you would only do that if you're a fucking idiot. That's what would make you do something like that. I don't give a fuck about clout. I don't want to hear not a goddamn thing about the kids these days or none of that shit. Hell no. Fuck that. You got to be goddamn stupid as hell to fucking just tell on yourself to the feds after you've just been arrested, detained, whatever you want to call it. The goddamn feds ran up in your house with guns, attack dogs, drug dogs, bomb dogs, the ATF, Homeland Security. Boy, stop. I just don't understand it. Why would you do that? Anyway, I'm sorry. King, we're going to do a whole video on you one day, King, because King Combs is tripping, bro. Tripping. Let's see here. Fifth Bantha, shout out to him again. Fifth Bantha says, I think he won't get the chance to snitch before he gets Epstein. Man, that's kind of dark. So I don't think, what they say, lightning doesn't strike in the same place twice. That's not true, but it doesn't hit in the same place twice when you're looking at it. I don't know. A watch pot never boils. That's what I'll say. A watch pot never boils. That's a better analogy. Now I'm gonna start thinking like Shannon Sharp. I'm gonna start thinking like Shannon Sharp. I'll have to start talking to myself in my brain like Shannon talk. He like hear his grandmother talking. You know how you say, my grandfather used to say, hey, boy, you can jump off a lily pad, but you're still gonna get wet. Okay, you can jump from lily pad to lily pad, but you're still gonna get wet. And I don't think, a watch pot never boils, Morgan. Hey, Fifth Bantha, let me just tell you something now. Hey, a watch pot never boils. Okay? And I don't think that if you're watching, they're going to try to kill Epstein Diddy. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's what's going to happen. It's too obvious at this point. Now, maybe something else happens to him, but I don't think so. Fifth Bantha said they got the right house this time. And Phil Page, he says, I mean, certain politicians are plenty big. Are pretty big. I've seen more clips, and he can also sing about an other artist whose name rhymes with lazy. So that's pretty big. Now, Jay-Z is not big enough. Well, it's not the person that they can really bring. It's what I'm saying is like, that's what do you call it? That's not a step forward. That's a parallel. What do they call it? That's a bilateral move. Is that what I'm trying to say? I don't know, man. I haven't even drank a shot yet. That's what's wrong with me right now. But no, y'all know I gotta stay hydrated. I drink shots of water right here in this water bottle. Yeah, I don't think that Jay-Z is a step above or anybody. You even with the alleged Clive Davis type allegements, you know what I mean? I don't think that that's a step up. I mean, as much money as those people have, okay. But if you're just talking about them doing freaky shit and abusing people, that's not enough for you to get immunity. You see? You need to bring them a charge that's bigger for a person that's bigger. Only thing that's going to be bigger than a racketeering charge for trafficking women and men who are being forced to or not forced to, regardless, they're being trafficked over state lines or over country lines. You'd have to have something like murder. And then you'd have to have something like conspiracy to commit murder. And then you'd have to, because you need a lot of charges to get completely off. But I'm telling you, he's not going to get completely off. He's going to get 7 to 10 with a testimony of some kind against someone else. And I think that's the only way we get Sean Combs out of prison. Not we get, but that's the only way we see Sean Combs get out of prison. Gers and Purrs agrees with Fifth Bantha. She says, I think the same thing. Yeah, I mean, he could get euthanized, but I doubt it highly. Everyone, Fifth Bantha says everyone was watching the first time a hand. I think you mean first time around. Could be paid not to. No, nobody was paying attention. Nobody thought, oh, they're gonna kill him in prison. I mean, that wasn't what people are saying on the news. That wasn't what the DA was asked during the press conference when they arrested him. That's not what anyone assumed. People assumed, man, we're going to hear a lot about these names in the court. Man, this is gonna be a crazy trial. Man, this is gonna be wild. Is Trump gonna be named in any court case? Nobody was thinking, oh man, he gonna die. They gonna kill him. And if you were thinking it, nobody said it. Nobody was saying it out loud. Might have been thinking it, keeping it to yourself. Like when Obama got elected, everybody was thinking, well, when are they gonna try to kill him? Nobody was saying it, but they was thinking it. Everybody was thinking it. You was thinking it. Don't say you wasn't thinking it. You were thinking it. Especially you. I know you was thinking it. Because we was all thinking it. It's fine. But we didn't say it. And that's just kind of what happened. I mean, I think people was probably thinking it with Trump. Like, yo, somebody gonna do something to him, man. It'd be tragic. Nobody wants to see that, but that's what we've all been thinking. And I don't know. I just feel like it's like it'd have to go. If it was to happen, it'd go down a different way. You're not just gonna find this nigga hung in his. He's not gonna hang himself in his cell on, if you believe that it's a conspiracy. I don't think that that's how that works. That's just my personal belief. You can't hang a man less than 6. You got to hang somebody like 10 years. He got to be like 6-7 years out. You can't commit false suicides and murders. You can't commit murder the same way more than 3 times in 10-12 years. It's an octopus murder rule. You got to go back to the octopus murders for this one. Let me ask y'all, do y'all think that this is related to like the octopus for all the people who were here from like the back in the day ones? You know what I'm saying? What was that, like episode 2 or 3 that we did that, y'all? We did that on this show. Yeah, go back and check that out. Well, I need to look that up my damn self. But man, I want to go look this thing. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because I want to play where they said this nigga. Oh, was that? No. I was wanting to play where Diddy's lawyer was talking about the lube.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything. I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
Baby oil, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
He has been ready to defend this case since he first found out about this case.
Diddy's case causing online chatter over the shocking discovery. The rapper's attorney telling all to TMZ as the outlet dives deep into the ongoing.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for.
Yeah,
why is he saying
the
that?
Number of bottles going viral on social media.
Why is he even? Why would you even say that?
Nemesis 50.
I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
TMZ reached out to Costco. Their rep says none of their U.S. locations carry baby oil.
Now that I had to let y'all hear that because this dude is wilding when you. Why would you let your lawyer do that? Why would you do that? That just sounds so insane to get on television and say those words about your client. I don't know. I'm just not gonna I myself, if I was famous, I'm not famous, but look at me. Get close. If I was famous, I wouldn't want my case to be talked about every single day. And the one thing that I can do to keep that from happening is personally or through another body talking about it every fucking day. Why would you go outside and talk about this shit? It blows my mind. But this is the person who raised the kid who did a diss track about how and then decided to talk about how the feds looked at the wrong house. I mean, like Fifth Bantha said earlier, they got the right house this time. They got their own time, right on time. Film Age says 100% octopus. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? This seems very much so up their alley with the flexible acts that taking place and the flexible assaults that have been taking place. I just think that we might be on to something when we talk about how all this octopus stuff goes. But what we gonna do, what they call put the pin in that, put it on the board, and we got to just keep on moving, you know. But only thing he's really charged with right now is racketeering, flexible threats, flexible assault, flexible trafficking. Man, you going to jail. Yeah, professionals and flex slaves. Flexible slobs, bro. This is crazy. Anyway, Diddy, going to jail. That's it for you, buddy. Like I said, unless he tattles on somebody, and that somebody, I've already given you enough tips for you to do your own research and find out who that somebody would be or somebody's would be, but because it's out there. So like I just said, if the feds is watching, if anybody's watching, don't come ask me. I just fucking gave you everything I can give you. Okay. And maybe I already said it in another video, so you can check that out. But I'm not here to do the work for the police. I'm here to report on what's happening. And so if that pops up in the news, we will definitely cover it right here. You know what that means? It's time to move on to the next topic. The next topic of the day. Hold on, we're gonna look at this one comment. Murderer says, do you believe it's right for a man to be prosecuted in the court of law simply because he's involved in your past regrets? Well, look, this is the thing. I'm gonna answer that. Do I believe that it's right for a man to be prosecuted in the court of law simply because he's involved in your past regrets? And so what I'm assuming that you mean that that you're referring to like the accusers and all this other stuff that's led to these to this arrest, right? This indictment that's come out. And this is the thing. I think that people have gotten away with a lot of crimes that, like, I mean, since the, let's say, modern crime era, right? So modern policing era, which I would consider to be anything since 1969, 1972 until now, right? The modern crime era. I would say that there's a lot of people who not only didn't go to jail, but went to jail and didn't serve but a very short period of time in prison, because the justice system is not only messed up in a way that affects people who are innocent, but it's messed up in a way that people who are wronged don't get justice, right? So back in the day, you used to be able to commit a murder and get out, like even in the 70s, you used to be able to kill somebody and get out in like 5 years. So is that right? And then so now I feel like if you get flexibly assaulted by somebody, even if you're with them, you know what I'm saying? We know that that's a thing. You know what I'm saying? As crazy as it sounds, the reason things that happen like that are unbelievable is because of the insanity. If you don't believe it, that's because you are a regular human being. You know what I'm saying? Your mind works how it's supposed to when you don't believe that someone is capable of those types of things, or when it's hard for you to let your mind go into that realm, into that type of thinking. But like the fact of the matter is, it happens. And the thing is, would I want someone to be able to get away with things that they did to me just because time has passed? Nah, because it, and I'm not talking about nigga stealing my bike or somebody fucking, beating me up, you know what I'm saying, when I was in high school, or even somebody that I got in a fight with. Like, I'm not talking about like nothing like that. I'm talking about like somebody assaulted me like flexibly. If somebody like assaulted my sister like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, my brother, anybody, my mom, like, I'm gonna need some justice legally, so I don't have to go out here and commit violence in a way that now is gonna get me locked up, right? So do I think that you should, because regardless if it's based off my regrets, I'm not supposed to be treated that way, right? Like, I wasn't supposed to be. I mean, it doesn't absolve someone from doing a crime just because the person who was involved has regrets. Now, with that being said, Cassie did not want to have this man's shit put out there in the way that it happened. Okay. Now, this is what happened. Cassie was writing a book. she was convinced to write a book by, her people, whatever, whoever, family, whoever. That's not important. But she decided to write a book. And in that book, it had all of these details about what happened to her while she was with Diddy. It wasn't a book about Diddy. It's not a I Survived Diddy book, right? It just had these moments because she was with him for 10 years. So of course it has these moments in there, right? She went to Diddy with the offer of, I will not put out the book if you pay me the $30 million that she stood to make off of the book. So basically, you pay me for the rights to the book or the right to not put out the book, and then I won't put out the book, but I have to be recouped. Diddy said no. Now, according to Torre, this is reporting by Torre, and you can go check out his Substack on substack.com/Torre. Pretty sure that's it. But yeah, you can Google it. Torre, he's a journalist, world-renowned hip-hop journalist, former host of MSNBC's The Take in the early 2000s. Like 2004-ish, 2008-ish, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, this has all been reported and confirmed. This is not something that I'm insinuating or I've read through YouTube videos. This is stuff that has been reported. And so this is Diddy's own doing. They're like, he is tearing down his own lifestyle. He is tearing down his own castle that he's built. He has built this world for himself. And now, for whatever reason, he's going to have to deal with it now. Now, because when I say whatever reason, I mean, why would you do this to yourself? Why would you not just pay her the $30 million? He paid $15 or $20 million to pay off his Miami house so that he could then put up the $50 million bond for getting out of this. You could have saved all that money just paying her the $30 million. $30 million to Diddy is nothing. $30 million to Diddy is $30,000 to any of us. If you're a regular human being, that's $30,000 to any of us. But this nigga got it. So actually, I guess so. No, it'd be like $30 to you. It'd be $30 to you and me. 30. Okay. And if you're doing well and you making like $300,000, $400,000 a year, that's like $3,000 to you. And then $1 million, 30,000, and so on and so on. This nigga's a billionaire, y'all. Like, this motherfucker right here could have saved himself a whole bunch of trouble. And it would all be over. None of us would have heard nothing about this had he just paid Cassie $30 million. And he ain't got to pay it all at one time. They pay it out in increments. You pay it out in increments. An NDA is signed. Nothing ever happens. But arrogance mixed with drug brain, when you're an addict and you're constantly just moving, they say Diddy sleeps like 3-4 hours a day. They say this nigga sleep like 10 hours a week, man. This is crazy. This nigga's crazy, bro. Because those are just self-destructive habits. And you could argue that this nigga was really just done with living the lifestyle he was living, guilt-stricken, and he's living, doing things that are self-destructive that bring down his own empire that he's built. If you want to call it that, you know what I mean? Like, I've always thought that Diddy's just a con man, but I hope that answered the question. Philmake says, yeah, dig up Biggie and Tupac and ask them that. Uh, da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's see here. I'm not going back up too far. Just reading these comments, seeing what's happening, seeing what's good. Dylan says, "Wow, Fifth, you're a legend." I don't know what that means, but that was Dylan. What's up, Dylan? What up, Dylan? Shout out to everybody getting it in the comments. If you're just watching right now and you just joined, this is the Bantha Bunch Show, as you can see right here. Bantha Bunch Show. I am your favorite cousin's favorite cousin, Bill. As you can probably see somewhere else. I don't know. Why is it not up? It's supposed to be showing. But anyway, yeah. I'm your favorite cousin, Bill. Boom, 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 boom. And yeah, we're talking about a little bit about Diddy. I think we're done talking about Diddy. But right now, we're gonna move on over to a conversation. I was so excited to talk about this shit. Vince McMahon. Mr. McMahon, the documentary of all documentaries. The documentary I thought honestly we would never see. It's Vince McMahon doing his thing over here. Hold on, I want to see if I can get away with playing this one song. Yeah. No. So that was Vince McMahon's Mr. McMahon theme song he used to come out to, man. If y'all don't know nothing about wrestling, you're going to get a teeny tiny bit of like history lesson right here. Not my intention to do that, but I feel like you're not going to understand a lot of what's going on. Most people know who Vince McMahon is just by seeing him, right? Like we've seen him all of our lives, most of us, because he's an old motherfucker. And also, though, it's because he's been quite controversial and he's one fucking hell of a character. You know what I mean? Like, he comes from an era, a bygone era of toxic masculinity, ravaged by abuse and controversy. Oh yeah, put that in a book. This is why I'm gonna get a Webby one day. Well, no, you know what? I'm not gonna get a Webby because I just found out you got to pay for the Webbies. You're like paying for these awards, so you gotta pay anyway. Pay for play. Don't ever do it, guys. Don't ever sell out like that, unless you're really selling out. And you selling tickets and shit, like sell out. But yeah, man, Vince McMahon was a torn soul. No, look, I'm not gonna glorify this dude. First of all, I will say about the documentary before I get into the history of wrestling and whatnot. Wrestling. The documentary was legit. I fucked with it. I'm here on the Drunk Bantha's channel and Nerds at Night channel. We focus on a lot of different types of film and television mediums. And on the Bantha Bunch show, we like to cover documentaries a lot because they don't get no love, really. But this one, usually I'm hard on documentaries. I'm always hard on documentaries, and I'm very critical because I think it has to be done a certain kind of way. For instance, I don't like CNN documentaries. I prefer movie-like documentaries, if that just makes any sense. This was one of those movie-like documentaries, even though it had multiple episodes. So yeah, it's a docu-series, but it was very cinematic. Now, little history lesson. Mr. McMahon, he was born in Newark, New Jersey, and raised in like one of the Carolinas. Can't remember. We'll say North Carolina. Let's just say Carolinas. He was raised in the Carolinas until he was about 12 years old, right? And you're probably thinking, Bill, you said you're going to start with a history lesson, not a Vince McMahon lesson. Well, wrestling like basically started with McMahon's. Now, were they the only ones? No, but anyway, Vince McMahon, 12 years old. Until he's about 12 years old, he's sexually abused by his mother and physically abused by his father daily, his stepfather, excuse me. Now, it's never said, or at least Vince says that he's never known why his dad was never in his life. His real dad was never in his life till he was 12 years old. And it was no known reason why his mom, didn't want to be with his dad, or why she moved away from his dad. But his stepdad ended up dying for whatever reason. I can't remember. And then, so his stepdad ends up dying. They move to New York, and he meets his father for the first time when he's 12 years old. And his dad, Mr. McMahon, was what do they call those people? It's when a son of a bitch. His dad was a son of a bitch. Have it written down right here. His dad was a son of a bitch. Okay. And why do I say that? He was just like hard on Vince. Vince said first time he met him, he went up to give him a hug, and his dad basically didn't hug him. He was kind of like, oh, like, okay, little boy. Good to see you too. Not a lot of love being showed, which he said that didn't really bother him. He was like, that's weird, but whatever. He's not punching me in the throat like the last guy. And this is my real dad. So this is good. Like, life is getting better. Is vastly improved. And like, his mom was like poor. Like, when he was living with his mom and his stepdad, they were like poor. Now, what's important about Mr. McMahon Sr.? What's important about him? What's important is, yes, a little frothy, terrible childhood dude had to endure. And by the way, this is off of his account. I'm just letting you know it's off of his account. Yeah, Dylan, bad dad life. Dylan said that's still messed up. Bad dad life, baby. But yeah. I digress. Mr. McMahon Sr., he was the owner of the WWF. Now, if you're watching this documentary, I want to let you know, put the captions on. I know you probably don't like captions, but it's hilarious watching it with the captions on, because every time they say the WWF or the World Wrestling Federation, the captions always say World Wrestling Entertainment, or WWE. Even if they say WWF or WWE, it always says in the subtitles World Wrestling Entertainment, because the World Wildlife Foundation sued them and got rid of the WWF in like the mid 90s, early 2000s, something like that, whatever. Just a little history lesson. But yeah, so Vince McMahon Sr., I think that's his name. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Senior. Anyway, Vince McMahon Sr. Was the owner of the territories of WWF, which is a New York territory. I think it involves Connecticut as well. Now, why is that? What do you mean it was a territory? Well, territories is how wrestling was broken up back in the day. You had like the Southern territories, which was like the Jerry the King Lawler's territory and shit like that. I don't know if y'all know who Jerry the King Lawler is. And you had the AAW in the West, Midwest, and I can't remember what all of them were called, but you had like the Central Territory and all this stuff, Rocky Mountain Territory, all these little territories where you could only see wrestling if you lived in those areas. You could only see those wrestling events, basically, is how that worked. People didn't, like, in every arena they would go to were only in those territories. And so McMahon's have the New York territory, which is a pretty fucking lucrative territory. I mean, you're in New York City, and that's the largest city in the country. It had the most money in the country at the time. It's like New York, LA, New York, LA. They're making a lot of money. Nobody's complaining in any of the territories, really, right? Thriving company, but it's missing something. And Vince saw with that thing that it was missing. It was that all of these wrestlers were diluted. Like the talent pool was diluted. We need to get the best ones to one consolidated territory, and then it would make that product better. And also, the way Vince saw it is that the rest of these territories shouldn't exist, because there's nothing legally binding that says that we're gonna keep this going up. So Vince decided, hey, I'm just going to take everybody's talent. I'm just going to move in on everybody's territory, and I don't care what anybody thinks. His dad was very upset about that. Now, I'm leaving out the fact that his dad sold the business to him, and, I'm leaving out a lot. So you can go check it out. Because I only got, it's a 10 episode, what was it? 8 episodes or something like that. And I watched all of them. I ain't got that kind of time to tell you all about the whole thing. So definitely gonna leave out a lot. But yeah, he bought WWF from his dad. Vince bought it from his dad. Then bought all these other guys out. Not bought all of them out, but put them all out of business by taking their talent, by moving in on their territories, doing shows in those areas, getting on the television airwaves in those areas. And that's when you started seeing guys like Andre the Giant, the Sheik, Iron Sheik, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan didn't originate on WWF. He originated in one of the other territories. I think it was the Southern territories. And he built himself up as a good worker. So then Vince took a liking to him and changed his character when they got him over there. Vince and his father changed his character up, and that's when he became the real American that we all know in Hulkamania Hulk Hogan. Now let me go to a little bit of these comments here, because I did see something about Vince McMahon here. Fifth Bantha said, what's crazy is living through all of this and watching him was insane. Vince Murda says Vince is the epitome of grabbing the world by the balls. Vince is the epitome of grabbing the world by the balls. Who was more badass, Shawn Michaels or Bret the Hitman Hart? Well, I'll tell you like this. Shawn Michaels is the biggest asshole at that time. He's apparently a really nice guy now and turned the cloth, turned over a new leaf. But he was an asshole back then. I didn't know that though. And Shawn Michaels was my favorite. So Bret Hart, he was always lame to me. Like, I liked Bret Hart because the way he looked was dope. He had the leotard onesie thing with the boots, the white and pink boots with the pink going up the side of the leotard and up in the chest. And he had then he had chains. This nigga who used to be kind of fresh. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, he looked like he might have some Inuit in him. You know what I'm saying? They was Canadian. He talked like this and all this shit. Like, it's what it's all about. A boot. It's what it's all about. That's exactly how he sounded, y'all. Don't worry about it. I'm joking. That was a terrible Bret Hart, but that was the first time I ever did it. So give me a break. But yeah, Lil Frothy said, oh no. Murderer. Your commentary is somewhat comical with a dedicated sense of focus and a hard work. A future career in stand-up looks bright. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate you. Somebody get this man a hat. Somebody get this man a t-shirt. Dylan said, Bill can make some really bad situations bearable with humor. I agree, Murda. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Appreciate the love. Why did you leave the Black Eyed Peas? Well, I left the Black Eyed Peas because they wasn't paying enough. Actually, I left the Black Eyed Peas because they were jealous of me. And Fergie loves extracurricular activities. That's what we'll say. Let's see here. That was Christy, by the way. That was Christy. Hold on. I got something for Christy right here. You like that? The Shuley Network says TSN is here. Let's kick this up a notch. Oh, who is TSN? Shout out to TSN. What it do? Okay, we got people kicking it in here. Okay, that's what's up. Heartbreaker, Bobby Slayer, School. Yeah, it's blowing up in here. I can't really keep up with y'all right now, but shout out to all the donations. Shout out to the donations. Shout out to El Diablo. El Diablo says, how many watermelons do you buy every summer? I'm guessing at least 10. Well, you'd be surprised then because I don't eat watermelon. I actually hate watermelon. I don't hate it. It's just I've had it and it makes me shit. Doesn't it make you shit, El Diablo? I'm guessing yes. Let's see. Takedown DDT says, I know a BBQ restaurant famous for stand-up. Sounds delicious. So anyway, yeah. Thank you for the donations, Takedown DDT and El Diablo. El Diablo. So yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. That's all you get right now. Yeah, so let me get back into it, man. Let me get back into it. So yeah, Vince McMahon tore up the territories, becomes what we know, and then shit kind of goes downhill. Why? Because the shit kind of got stale. When you're at the top, man, it's hard to feel challenged, and challenge is what makes people the challenge is what drives people. It keeps people boom, 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 going, right? Well, when you don't have a challenge, you get complacent. You get to the point where you're not really feeling adversity and you're just laid up chilling with your feet up. That's what happened to Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon was sitting up chilling with his feet up, and then he got kicked in the dick, or actually maybe somebody came up and kicked the chair from underneath him, right? Kicked the chair from underneath him. And that company was called the WCW. This guy named Eric Bischoff got this guy named Ted Turner to give him a lot of money to make this poor little WCW former territory of WCW is like the Georgia, Florida, Alabama-ish area. By the territories were cut up into areas like they do the gerrymandering now. It looked crazy back then. It was crazy. But if you're familiar with gerrymandering, yeah. So yeah, the WCW had Ted Turner. My name is Ted Turner, and I have a TV show. I got billions of dollars. And this is the 90s, baby. Like this is like 93. He's already come up with CNN. He's got TBS. He's got WGN. He got the TNT, man. He got everything. No, did he have WGN or was that somebody else? Anyway, doesn't matter. So WCW goes on to TNT. They get Monday Night going up against Monday Night Raw with the WWF. It's Monday Night Nitro with WCW. And yeah, basically they took over. Long story short, for those who don't give a shit about wrestling, I very much so do, obviously, because I'm just telling y'all all this from the top of my motherfucking dome. But but yeah, long story short, 86 weeks later, let's say almost 90 weeks later, WCW was on top. Straight 90 weeks or almost 90 weeks. It got crazy. WCW was taking a lot of the talent from the WWF. And they were not only taking the talent, they were paying the talent more, like way more, guaranteed contracts, which was unheard of at the time. What did Vince have to do? What did Vince do? What could he do? He couldn't do nothing. He was trying to do all kind of stuff. Man, they were talking mad shit. WCW was talking mad shit about WWF. It got nasty. And what are you to do? What are you to do? Well, Vince sued them. He sued them for trying to steal intellectual property. Real bitch move, man. And you know why I say it's a bitch move? Because the WCW was just doing what Vince had done like 25 years before that. Or maybe 20 years before that. Whatever. Maybe it wasn't even that long. Like, point is, bruh, you just put a whole bunch of other people out of business by stealing their talent and taking the same nights in the same cities that they have and putting on a better show, a bigger show, a more entertaining, more real show, like based in realism. I don't know if y'all remember or have ever seen. I mean, maybe there's some people out here old enough watching that have seen the old black and white shit. But that shit was ridiculous. Like, I know it's ridiculous now, but I'm talking about if you think what they have out now or what they had out in the 90s was ridiculous, man, you need to go look at the 70s, man. It's a bunch of plumbers fighting each other on TV. And they got these really weird backstories that had nothing to do with nothing. And the racism was up 1,000-fold. Like, if you think it's racist now, it was way more racist then. It is because it is racist now. That is a fact. But anyway, I digress. WCW takes over. Vince McMahon says, you know what, man? We got to have more attitude. This is bullshit. We got to get more edgy. More than WCW. We got to have more WCW over here at WWF. And that's what they did, brother. And they call that the Attitude Era. You know, they call that the Attitude Era. And we all know, like, who came out of the Attitude Era. That's right. It was Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know what I'm saying? We had other people come out of it, like the Undertaker was already there, but we had people like what the Rock is cooking. We had The Rock come up out of there. You know what I mean? Like, we had. That is the Attitude Era for those who don't know. And that was when we had Bazoomies hanging out. Did I say Bazoomies? Bazoongas, sweater puppets. What do y'all want to call them? Wrong answers only. Put it in the comments. What should I call jugs? What should I call it other than jugs or sweater puppets or boobies? What should I call it other than that? You know what I mean? You got any good names? Let me know. And that's when we started seeing the TNA. You know what I mean? The tits and ass, for those who don't know. Saw a lot of ass. And if you're a kid like me, you know, between the ages of what? I was probably like 12 to 17 years old, like in that time frame. If you're a kid like me watching it, man, you're like, hell yeah, we're about to see some titties. This is cool. But also, if you're a kid like me, you felt those moments where they went too far, were like it was uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, there's crazy storylines in WWE Attitude Era where there was a lot of implied flexible assault and implied sexual assault, workplace-based assault. It's crazy. Like the I'm not even gonna go into it. Y'all check it out. I'm not trying to resurrect things on the internet, like, you know what I mean, like on this channel. I'm not trying to resurrect situations and try to explain situations and go down that rabbit hole of insanity. But surmise it to say they were disrespectful as hell to women in the WWF/WWE at the time. But yeah, out of this, Vince looks like a pretty damn big hypocrite, right? Big, because you know he's stealing their talent. I mean, he stole talent from the other territories. Now he's getting talent stolen from him. I dare you to say that 10 times fast. He's having talent stolen from him. He's got to figure it out. And what does he do? He steals their ideas. He started the TNA that was really started over at WCW. They had the Nitro Girls, right? They They started like the Nitro girls were like Laker girls with a little bit less on, but tighter. You could say, and pyrotechnics. I mean, it was cool. Vince took that. Now Vince would say, "Well, I didn't take the Eric Bischoff didn't create women in bikinis and a tube top. anybody could do that. So we just happen to do it better. So the motherfucker is crazy. But one thing that he definitely also stole from Eric Bischoff, who was again the CEO of WCW, he stole the evil Eric Bischoff heel element that they had, storyline that they had going on at WCW, and became what we all know today as Mr. McMahon. Yes. You see how this is going? He stole that as well. Mr. McMahon is a character that's really just Eric Bischoff, or the idea of using himself in that way, right? Problem is, for everybody that was involved, is Vince McMahon's character, Mr. McMahon. And I hope y'all understand that wrestling is about characters who are acting. These guys are really just stuntmen who act every week. That's what a wrestler is. A stuntman who acts, and you have to be able to tell this story through fighting, right? Conveying that on television in a soap opera form. Well, Mr. McMahon's character is no different than that, right? Well, and I say that to say, like, people like Stone Cold Steve Austin, their characters come from a piece of them that is based in some type of them. Like The Rock was able to come up with his character because he was always kind of flamboyant, braggadocious, like
The Rock is cooking.
You don't come up with shit like that. Like if you smell what The Rock is cooking. If you go back and look at his, go back at his book, you can see that he was using pieces of himself, things that he had been doing since high school, like the People's Eyebrow and all that stuff. It's no different for Vince McMahon. Like, he was taking a big piece of himself and using it. And the things that he did were pretty goddamn disgusting. One thing that he did that they didn't talk about was the one time where he says, "My nigga." Let's see if I can find it. He told, who did he tell that to? Oh, Booker T. That was like some coon shit, borderline. Yeah, here we go. And I just want to say that so this is a John Cena clip with Vince McMahon that is pretty famous, infamous. I'm just gonna play it.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
Yeah. What's good in the hood?
Just holding it down, trying to take care of business.
Keep it up, my nigga.
Now, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This right here was the end. First of all, this is Booker T. You're seeing right here. And this is his wife at the time. I can't remember what her name is. Jazz? I think her name might be Jazz. But anyway, I ran into them at a Denny's. Was it Shoney's or Denny's? At a Denny's. It was definitely a Denny's. Ran into them. They were really cool. That's his real life, though. Yeah, man. This nigga fucking was a part of this craziness. Are you kidding me? He's too fucking happy. Now, okay, you like Bill, you just explained how he's a fucking actor. He's acting, he's a character. Okay, well, who gives a shit? Like he didn't have to choose to do this. He's also the writer, producer. Like he's involved in making these storylines. He also didn't have to do that. So I don't know. It was really upsetting. This is when I was done with this is basically when I was done with watching professional wrestling as an entertainment. Regardless, and for me, it wasn't even a guilty pleasure. I loved wrestling. I always understood it. I always wanted to be a wrestler until I was like maybe 15 years old, 16, which is a long time. Like when you're actually out there taking bumps, learning to take bumps, coming up with different moves, learning how to do different moves and take certain, man, it was a dream, man. It was a dream. I always wanted to be Maven because they had the was it Tough Enough? The competition that was basically like the Ultimate Fighter before Ultimate Fighter. I wanted to do that so bad, but I was too young. And then they got rid of it, I think, by the time I was old enough. But anyway, I didn't want to do it anyway because they don't make no money for real. I was like, I can make $50,000 or more than $50,000 just going to college and getting a regular job. Murderer said, being a seasoned ganja smoker after all the years of experience, do you still smoke a whole spliff at once, or do you now find ways to preserve the spliff while still enjoying its benefits? Well, I'm glad you asked that question because I've never been asked this question. And the answer is I don't smoke spliffs. I smoke blunts. But let's just say you consider a blunt to be a spliff. That's also not what I smoke here on this show, the Bantha Bun Show, or the Drunk Bantha's channel. The Drunk Bantha's podcast. That's every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. I don't smoke blunts. I smoke clove cigarettes. And I don't smoke ganja. I smoke clove cigarettes, which also are bad for you. Do not smoke. And also drink responsibly. I just say that even though we only drink shots of water here, and I'm about to take my shot of water right now. What was I about to play? I was about to play something. What's this? Oh, no, I don't want to play that. I was about to play something. But you know what? Fuck it. I'm about to keep it going here. Actually, I'm going to make sure I roll up one of these cigarettes here in a second after I take this here shot. Wait a minute. There's got to be a way for me to do. Nah, fuck it. I'm going to just take this one. Hold on a second. Why do I chase my water with orange juice, you say? No, why, you say? Orange juice? Orange juice, you say? It's because I don't like the taste of water. I don't like the taste of water. So I drink it with the OJ. I take a chase. No, you don't believe me? Prove me wrong. Dylan said, I'm sitting down to smoke murder, and then I'm gonna sit a bit longer. Do I find a way to preserve the spliff? Nah, I pretty much always smoke it to the end. You know, I've always thought about that too. Like, let's say I smoke 3 times in the day, and it's like all for the purposes of this conversation, it's all a spliff. if I smoke all spliff 3 times in one day, I guarantee you 2 of those 3 times I'm thinking, damn, I'm high. I wish I could just stop. I should just stop smoking this right now and then save the rest for later. That's what I should do. But then when I look at it, bro, and tell me if this happens to y'all. When I look at the spliff, I'm like, dude, this is like too small to save. Like, I don't know if it's just my hand is big. I do have like I don't have abnormally big hands, but I do have like big hands, and maybe that's it. But I'm like, bro, that's not enough to save. And then when I look at it and it's like it's enough to save, it's like, well, I'm not really there yet. Not there yet. I need to get there before I do this. And yeah, doesn't happen. So yeah, it took me a long time to answer that one, but we got there. Fifth Bantha says, smoke 2 joints before you smoke 2 joints, and then I smoke 2 more. Oh yeah. Oh, you talking about the Tig old biddies? So Fifth Bantha says Tig old biddies. When we're talking about, look, come on. If you don't know what we're talking about, you don't know. If you just got here, put the wrong answers only. Murderer says fun bags. Dylan says Tubies. I like that. Tubies works. I'm not mad at Tubies. Murderer says the chat room is requesting you share a Dave Campbell impersonation right now. Hold on. What? Let's see here. I'm looking it up. I'm not good enough at that. Oh, Dave Chappelle. Is that supposed to say Dave Chappelle? Dave Chappelle impression. Okay. Well, hold on a second. If you want me to do a Dave Chappelle impersonation, I have to have like something to say. Like, what would I say? Like, I can do a Dave Chappelle impersonation of him doing a character, right? Like, for me to say that I can do a Dave Chappelle impersonation is very funny because everybody always says I sound like Dave, but it's because like I kind of grew up in the South and the Midwest, and so therefore things just get crazy, man. I don't understand it. People say I sound like Dave Chappelle. I just don't hear it. I don't hear it, man. But you know what I told him? I told him, you used to live in my balls, man. That's crazy. No, so yeah, I don't think I do a good Dave Chappelle, but if I do Dave Chappelle impersonation of him doing characters, chingy chang chong chong, I can't understand you, white power, I can do that, but can't do it any other way. Fifth Bantha said there were so many things wrong with the industry back then, but it was hella interesting. Hogan versus the Undertaker is legendary. Yeah, Undertaker was the shit. Da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Morgan fucks with the people's elbow. Murderer. Yeah, let's keep it more wrestling stuff. Murderer says, was Mankind, aka Mick Foley, ever respected amongst his peers? Yes. Mick Foley, considered one of the nicest sweetest human beings on the planet. And a lot of his storyline is kind of true, which is what makes the best characters in this business, in my opinion. Clearly, I guess I already said that. But his storyline was basically that he grew up always wanting to be a wrestler, was not charismatic, was not physically the thing that you need to be an Adonis to be a wrestler back in the day, or at least be big and have like a good look, a good chib to a good cut to your jib. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, bruv? You gotta have a good cut to your jib, bruv. So, yeah, without that, a lot of people don't get to be a wrestler. As good as your talent might be, you're not going to be a wrestler because you're not fucking in the physique that you need to have. Mick Foley fought his way through Japanese wrestling and hardcore matches and all that shit just to get the respect to be able to get there. So what I will say is 99% of the people that you see on television, if you see them on television, they're hella respected by their peers. Even the guys that are not well liked, like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart had real hatred for each other at a certain point in time. Well, they fought each other a lot, and they never let that get in the way. There's some terms that I'm going to keep using. I guess I need to get out of the way. When they say take care of, they used to always take care of each other. When they say that in the sense of being in the ring, yes, everything is discussed beforehand or it's called in the ring. The outcome is predetermined, but the things that they do are real, right? Like, you can't fake getting hit in the head with a chair. You can't fake jumping off the top turnbuckle and landing on top of somebody's chest with your elbow. You can't fake jumping off of a ladder that's 25 feet in the air and jumping down on top of a human being's body on a table, right? You can't fake any of that shit. So yeah, he got a lot of the respect of his peers. Undertaker, Mankind, steel cage match, one of the most epic of all time. Let's see here. We just get flamies. I'm fucking flaming right now. I know that. Let's get it going. Yeah, let's keep it fucking going. And Ben, people, please, if you're watching and you're having a good time, if you're agreeing with everyone who's in the chat, please go like right now, subscribe right now. If you're on Twitter, hit that heart button and hit the repost. Or you don't have to comment. You don't have to. But please show us a little love so we can help spread this out, man. I want to keep doing this with you guys nonstop. We're almost to 52 weeks doing this, man. 52 weeks almost. While we're off subject a little bit, I do want to pay some bills. Make sure you go to Drunk Bantha's channel and on YouTube and the Nerds at Night channel on YouTube and hit the subscribe buttons. We're simulcasting right now. We do that every week, twice a week, once on Monday with the Drunk Banthas podcast with me and my brother Alex, and then on Thursdays it's just me. On Mondays it's 8 p.m. Pacific time. On Thursdays it's 7 p.m. Pacific time. But this week we went at 8 because last week I told y'all I would be doing the Penguin breakdowns, spoiler-free reviews. Well, guess what? They put Penguin on Sunday now. So you'll just have to wait for Mondays and come join us if you came for that. I do apologize. I wasn't aware that they were going to be changing it, and I didn't find out actually until yesterday. So look, again, I do apologize. But next week we will be back at 7 p.m. Pacific time. And actually it's like 7:15. So Please forgive me. But turn on your bell on the notification side, and you'll see us all the time. I promise you. If you need a reminder, go to Instagram and follow us, or go over to X and follow us, and you'll never miss anything. I promise you. Because we try to do a pretty good job of helping you out. Also, go to the Discord, Nerds at Night Discord. Is it a Nerds at Night? Well, anyway, there's a 9 Nerd Yards Discord. So go over there to 9 Nerd Yards Discord, and we're over there a lot, hanging out with Othelius, cutting it up, and the rest of the family. So do that. And yeah, we got a lot of horror stuff coming up in October on both channels, so look out for that. One thing I wanted to touch on, no freaky, but one thing I wanted to touch on with Vince McMahon is his relationship with his children. His children's name are Shane and Stephanie McMahon, for those who don't know. And I know a lot of y'all already know this stuff, but I have to go over this for the people who don't. Okay. Vince McMahon had 2 kids. Their names were Stephanie and Shane. Shane was the oldest of the 2, and he was always, much like his father, interested in being in the business of wrestling. And his grandfather before him and his father before, or his father before him and his grandfather before him, right? And it seems like natural, right? It's only natural. Vince McMahon Jr., Shane McMahon, like that should be how it goes. Wrong. This nigga got too fucking comfortable. Okay. He got too comfortable. He started thinking, well, I'm next in line. What can I do about it? Like, this nigga can't stop me. I'm like, he's gonna die and I'm gonna take over. So Shane decides one day, hey, I want to put this idea up. I think that we should make a business move and buy this company called UFC. They're kind of struggling financially, and the people want to sell it because they say it's too violent for TV. But I think that if we buy it, we can make some changes that will be beneficial to us in the long run financially. Vince told Shane that it was stupid and they would never do that ever again. Ever. Oh, not ever again, but ever, period. He said, as long as I live here, as long as I live, that will never be done here. And shout out to Bantha, shout out to Nerd, excuse me, shout out to 9 Nerd Yards. He said Bantha Bunch. That's right. So y'all show Don some love. Go over there and subscribe to 9 Nerd Yards. Show him some love. But yeah, forever, ever, 9, he said that it will never, ever, 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 ever happen. And his response to Shane wasn't just that. So, you know, somebody say that's normal, right? It's like, all right, that was a little much, but like, you ain't had to do me like that in front of everybody out here. Like, this is in front of everybody. This is the production meeting, okay? And Vince just kept going. He told him, he pulled out a knife out of his pocket, opens the knife, and hands it to Shane and says, take it. If you want to do this deal, you take this knife and you put it in my heart right now, because then I'll know you're ready to take it and you're ready to have this company. But if you don't, I'll know you're not ready and you'll never have this company. And when you do stab me, if you do stab me in my chest, you just remember, I'll never let you have it. And you'll have to take it from me like I would have taken it from my father if he hadn't died. I was like, what? I like kind of got chills when the dude was saying, like, the dude who told this story was someone who was there. And I don't want to go through it. Like, it was former owner of the ECW. He worked with WWF anyway. He told this story, and I was just like, what the hell is that? Like, what makes somebody think like that? And basically, he admitted that, like, if his father ever got in his way of owning the company, he would have killed him if he had not let him buy the company, which he kind of didn't want Vince to buy the company. But, like, I'm positive Vince didn't kill his father because he bought the company, and his father was alive for quite some time after he bought the company. Long enough for you to believe or assume that he didn't kill his father. But he basically told everybody and his son, I would have killed my dad if he had gotten my way. And why is that important? Well, I think it shows who the dude kind of really is. You know, he had some crazy moments that I really can't show. Really, I feel like I've shown you too much already with the my nigga thing. Like, I'm definitely gonna get demonetized for that, but who cares? Because I'm always getting demonetized, but it'll be back to monetize later. But yeah, man, he's kind of, I don't know, you know, somebody was asking me earlier, do you think he's a sociopath or do you think he's a psychopath? And I'm like, man, I think he might be a sociopath, because he's able to garner sympathy easily. It seems to take out his pain and anguish on a lot of other people just to watch them suffer. You know, he just likes to watch and witness people break down. And I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to see more. I guess I'd have to say, but also advise it to say he was accused of a lot of flexible assault later during the making of this documentary, actually. So they had to, they didn't have to stop. I mean, they lost the ability to interview him after the fact because I'm sure his lawyers told him that, look, this is no longer beneficial to you to keep talking about your life. They're definitely going to have to ask you questions, considering that you started this documentary already and you've pretty much agreed to, you know, be cooperative in some kind of, to some degree. We just feel like it's not safe for you to, I mean, that's smart lawyer shit. But those accusations that are out there, dude, like, they're crazy. If you hadn't seen them, one of them is an accusation that this young lady was basically flex trafficked amongst executives who work at WWE, WWF, which is disgusting. And then they have text messages between him and her. It's crazy. All you need to know about that to understand it, right? Like, it said that he defecated on her while she was pleasing another man while they were in the midst of a threesome. He defecated on her face and chest. I don't know what that is. So y'all have to tell me, is that a sociopath? Is that psychopath? Is what is it? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not an empath. That is what it's not. Dylan said, that's all fucked. Yes. Yes, it is. And you're all good. Shout out to the fifth Bantha for letting some of these wild ass comments come through. You're welcome to all of y'all, because I have him as the admin, but you need to thank him. Y'all give him a shout out and give him a thank you, because he's putting all your craziness through right now. 9 Nerd Yard says the impressions are top spot. Well, thanks, man. Thanks, man. You know what? Shout out. Dylan says it's a psychopath. Psychopath. He's a psychopath. It's a definition, I get. I mean, what this, because it's crazy, because it seems like one of those classic situations, man, where you think you know somebody and then but you don't, you really don't, right? Because the reason I say that is because everybody who worked with Vince has nothing but terrible stories that they dealt with Vince with, but they all feel like this fatherly figure relationship with him. Like they all seem to have, well, I'll say the bigger acts, the people that they interviewed for the purpose of this documentary, all seem very sympathetic, man, empathetic towards him. Fucking Undertaker, goddamn Mark, goddamn cries at just the thought of how much Vince has done for him. And you have to understand, a lot of people, shots of water, are in debt to him in that manner. Like, he gave them their start when no one else would. He helped them turn their career around when they seemed to have none. He's paid for people's grandmother's funerals and mother's funerals and stuff like that. Like, there's people who have a real genuine relationship with him to the degree where they feel like, not like they owe him anything, but like, I don't have any malicious hate towards this dude. You know what I mean? Jedi Master Grayson, what's happening? Shout out to Jedi Master Grayson. He is the co-host of, he's the first Bantha, first of all, and he is the co-host of the Drunk Banthas podcast every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. He says, Jedi Master Grayson says, haven't seen the doc yet, but read some articles and it is some disturbing shit. That was my Poor Frisco impersonation. So shout out to him. Shout out to Poor Frisco. It was pretty disturbing. But definitely watch it. Wait a minute. Yeah, Dylan Smith says shots of water. Then Murder says shots of water, please. Let's do some shots of water right now. Let's do some shots of water. I'm gonna put this Film Age comment up real quick. But yeah, shots of fire water is always a good thing. Let's do it. Woo! Might make your head blow off. Let me put this OJ down. I'm not trying to pay nobody's bills. they didn't pay to be on the show, so they can't be on the show. You know what I'm talking about? Dylan said, "That's Bill. That's gross enough. I know what you're talking about. Defecation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Would that be wrong if I, would it be wrong or would it be right? If I shit myself tonight, chances are that I might. Mutilation out of sight. Defecation out of sight. And I'm contemplating shitting more because I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Don't know if I make it to the bathroom on time. Losing my sight, losing my mind. Don't think I'll make it to the bathroom on time. This is my defecation. This is my last reason." No? Y'all like that song? No? No. I don't know. That was my attempt at a freestyle. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not a rapper. I'm a singer. So I gave y'all that Papa Choach. Y'all never heard of Papa Choach? They are a fake band that covers or does satirical songs of Papa Roach. Check them out. Hot shit. Great shit. I'm just joking, by the way. If you look that up and you just spent time looking it up, I'm sorry. You can just stop Googling. There is no Papa Choach. I mean, unless you start one. You guys can. Oh, man. If somebody starts a band called Papa Choach and just starts like a band camp or something, I'll send you a t-shirt. How about that? I'll send you a t-shirt, a Drunk Bantha's t-shirt. Yeah. Was Murderer says Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park? For me, ooh, man. Ugh. I don't know, man. Chat, help me out. Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park? Before I get to that, I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. On this channel, we are about conservation. So make sure you always reuse your bottles. Reuse your bottles. Get them glass bottles. You know what I'm saying? Or but don't be getting paper bottles and plastic bottles. That's wasteful. So I drink my water out of one of these, and I drink my water just for the newcomers, just so y'all know. Shout out to the 40 people who are watching right now. Shout out to y'all. But when I drink my water, see, I drink it. I have to drink it out of a shot glass, a tiny glass. See, because there's not a lot of space over here, around here. And I also don't like water, right? I don't like water. But you have to drink it. You have to stay hydrated, right? And so when I take these, I have to drink it with my OJ because I don't like the taste of water. So that's all it is. That's all it is. I don't even know why y'all be thinking like that. That's all it is. Shout out to Alex though. I don't know why he's here. I mean, I don't know why he's watching, but I love that he's watching. Y'all ever go to work and the person that you work with come on over by your cubicle or some shit and he be like, "What's happening, man? What you doing?" That's what Alex just did right now. Let's see here. So we got some answers. The question is, so y'all know, Limp Bizkit or Linkin Park? I'm going to go with reading y'all's answers first before I even answer, man. That's a hard question for me, at least. Fifth Bantha says Limp Park. Oh, so he's saying both. He's basically, you could have just said yes. Jedi Master Grayson says LP all day. I knew he was gonna say Linkin Park. Like, I'm gonna get into that later. Yeah, we got it. Fifth Bantha, he said 50-50. Dylan Smith said no. See, that's what I'm saying. Just say no if you're gonna say both, or just say, I mean, if you're gonna say neither, and just say yes if you're gonna say both. Because yes. I mean, you know what I mean? And yeah, Fifth Bantha says you're not wrong. Jedi Master Grayson. Dylan says shots of water. Boo! To be clear, my shot of water was Watakila. 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 Just so y'all know, I'm gonna put out a album. It'll be a Drunk Banthas album. See what I'm saying? Drunk Banthas. Y'all see that? Boom! I'm gonna put out an album. It's gonna be the Drunk Banthas album, and it's gonna be just like this. And the album cover, it's gonna be this, baby. Yeah. And yeah. Once that comes out, you have to put a title for like who wrote things and all that stuff. And I'm gonna use my new DJ name. I've decided to premiere it right here on the Bantha Bunch Show, right here for you, baby, right here for you. You're getting it. You're getting it first. Do I have a drum roll? There's no drum rolls here. God damn it. We don't need a drum roll.
These nuts.
We don't need no drum roll, okay? My new DJ name, premiering to y'all with the Drunk Banthas album coming soon, is DJ Dro Gas. Because I smoke Dro, and it's always gas, and it's a drug. With, drogas. That's drugs in Spanish. So that's what I'm doing. Drogas. You know what I'm saying? Y'all fuck with it or no? Is it a wah, 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 wah? Or is it like, yay? Tell me. I'll give myself the button. I'll give myself the button if I need to change it, you know? But I think that's my that is my new DJ name for the Drunk Banthas podcast. Drunk Banthas album. Excuse me, I had to burp. But yeah, this all leads me into the Monsters documentary, which I can't really talk about too much because I haven't watched the whole thing. Also, it's not a documentary. I don't know why I just said that. It's a television series, biopic series, which it hits home. It hits a little too hard for a lot of people here in Los Angeles. It was a crime that took place in the early 90s. And I don't know if people realize, but in the early 90s, LA was, for lack of a better way to put it, LA was going through it in the early 90s. You have several black people who were shot by Korean store clerk owners, and one particular person who was shot was a young girl by this old lady, Korean lady. She got off for it, of course. It was cold blood murder, but she got off for it, which then the Rodney King situation happens. People getting, he's getting beat. Well, we can say he was attempted to be beaten to death. If you've seen it, if you haven't seen it, come on, where you been at? I know a lot of y'all are young, but please just do your own, like participate in your own education. That's the most important thing. One of my teachers told me when I was in middle school, participate in your own education. You can't expect even teachers to give you everything, right? You got to go and get some of it yourself. But I digress. Nice little history lesson for you guys. You can't go get everything from your teacher. Sometimes you got to get it on your own, participate in your own education. But anyway, the 90s was crazy. I'm just mentioning those things, but there also were a lot of murders. You got OJ. Everybody knows OJ, but before OJ, there were a lot of murders. The girl who was in the Poltergeist, the daughter, she was murdered. And her father was a writer he was a writer in Hollywood. And he also was a writer for Vanity Fair. His daughter was murdered. He also happened to write a lot about the Menendez brothers, who tragically murdered their parents in their home on a Sunday evening while they were watching LA Law. Well, was it LA Law? Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. That isn't important. That's one of them salacious things. I'm sorry. I'm in LA. I'm in Hollywood. I Hollywooded it up a little bit. I'm sorry. Okay? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I've been here too long. I digress. Everybody knows this story in LA. I wasn't aware, like I myself am it's always hard to say this. It's like it's always like a way. It's hard to try to figure out a way to say this. I am a avid researcher of serial killers or tragic killers of passion, murders of passion that take place on a high profile type of nature. And why is it that case where it's a high profile nature? Is because we don't really get a lot of the other cases presented to us because no one really cares about this type of stuff in the justice system. It's a turn 'em and burn 'em system where it's just trying to get to the next case so we can get to the next case so that we can get to the next case. It's not important whether or not people are guilty or innocent, really. It's important about getting to the next case. Important to get to the next case. Hard to do, though, when it's a celebrity-like type case or a high-profile type case, and as we're dealing with the Sean Combs case, right? And the Eric Adams case that I'm going to get to because I'm not going to stay on this too long because I have not finished this series yet. But the Menendez brothers were, I don't want to say accused, they were convicted of murdering their parents in 1990. They were convicted, I think, in 1993. The trial was basically presented as, before there was a trial, it was basically presented as these kids killed their parents, cold blood, nobody having sympathy for them, blah, 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 blah. These guys come from a blonde mom, blonde, pretty mom, and a good-looking Cuban man, right? So these guys come out looking beautiful. They're these beautiful kids, a mix of beauty and beauty that come out looking gorgeous Well, you know what I'm saying. 1990s gorgeous. 1990s pretty. And their father was a very proud man, a first generation immigrant. What do they call it? First generation? Yeah, I guess they call it first generation. First generation immigrant. Well, he was just an immigrant. He was an immigrant and came to America at 16 years old, got into the film business a little bit, and somehow snuck his way into a CEO position at RCA Records Live Entertainment, which I believe ended up becoming a subsidiary or falling under the umbrella of Live Nation. Eventually would become, but this is what it was at the time, right? It was with RCA. And they had such artists as Menudo in the old RCA building, which is the school that I went to. Like the building that the school that I went to owns the building, the old RCA building here in Los Angeles off Sunset. And you can Google that if you want. Michael Jackson had an office there, which was Elvis's old office. Okay, so like this is the kind of upper echelon music situation that we're talking about, like closing $20 million deals, $30 million deals. You know what I'm talking about? I'm closing deals, you know what I mean? He was a baller like that. So they're in Beverly Hills. But this guy knew nothing about music. He just pull myself up by my bootstraps type of guy. Outside looking in, you're looking like, man, these people have the American dream. 2 beautiful sons, a wife, beautiful wife, and he's got all the money he needs in the world. But it was one of the darkest, deeply disturbing and sad relationship that these 4 people had with each other. Now, yes, these guys committed cold-blooded murder that cannot be forgiven in any way, shape, or form, and it is only meant to be understood. You know what I mean? When it comes to this case, if you were a law student, I would say that this is only meant to be understood, not to be celebrated or well, I'll just say celebrated for the whole point of this. Hold on. Before I go any further, I want to read some comments. Dylan Smith said, "Drug ass is for better or worse." Yeah, I'm with that. Othelius, welcome Othelius. Shout out to Othelius. Everybody show Othelius some love. He's in the chat. I know some of y'all can't see him because y'all be in the other show on the other channel, but you know, we're gonna keep it going. Othelius said, "That's the most amazing example of lying on a resume I've ever heard." Yes, it is, because guess what, Othelius? This nigga never had nothing to do with music ever. Like he just freaked the whole thing. And there was a point. Well, at least that's a good segue. To that point, the boys, the way this documentary is set up, biopic is set up, by the way, beautifully done, well shot biopic. But the way it's set up is that every episode seems to be a perspective view. So like we get, and not in a bad way, but we get it in a way like, you know how you get exposition? This is exposition that they tell us what's happening. So this is Lyle and Eric Menendez. For those who don't understand, that is, who aren't familiar, The name of the documentary is Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. They basically try to show you or tell you through exposition and reenactments, or I guess not reenactments, it's the fucking flashbacks, how everything happened. Different accounts. And the kids, Lyle and Eric, said that their parents used to always teach them to lie, cheat, and steal. Just don't ever get caught. And so that speaks to the nature of like this comment here at the bottom that Othelia's had, just speaks to the nature. I mean, because they basically thought that way, at least according to the kids. Oh, they weren't kids. It was like 18 and 19 or 17 and 19, something like that, or 17 and 21. 17 and 21. So they weren't kids, but Lyle and Eric, the brothers, they lied a lot. They lied a lot, dog. And I don't want to just be like they were pathological liars. I mean, they had committed a murder. They had murdered their parents. I mean, you're probably going to lie a lot if you did that. And you're probably going to lie more than you ever have in your whole life. But they lied a lot in real life. I'm just talking right now. I'm just talking about the actual story. What they gave, like the first 4 or 5 episodes are just accounts of what the Menendez brothers had told. All the way up until when they've gotten in prison and they've met with what would be their final lawyer. What was her name? Jessica Ambrose? Jennifer Ambrose? Jessica Ambrose? Anyway, when they got to their final lawyer, that's when they started really like formulating some kind of plan. Like their first lawyer was Robert Shapiro, famous for working on the OJ trial. And then these motherfuckers just start making up shit, it seems like. Like you can tell that they're just trying to make up shit to get in and like get out of the response, get out of the murder. But it's like, stick to the same lie, nigga. Like, goddamn, they keep changing the shit over and over and over and over and over. But then you get to see why. Like I said, there's flashbacks, right? You just keep going back further and further and further. And episode 5, man, it breaks you down. Like, it breaks you down. Episode 5 is probably the hardest episode to watch and or listen to. Even if you're just trying to watch it in passing, that shit's hard. Hold on a second. That shit's hard to watch, dude. Like, but before I get to that, there's some things I did not realize. Like I said, it's a very popular story, an extremely popular story here in Los Angeles. I didn't know that these two guys kill their parents, and Eric, the youngest brother, just is torn up about it to the degree that he decides he's going to go tell their therapist. So he goes to their therapist, he calls them, he gets an emergency meeting, goes to the therapist, and tells him after quite some deliberation and just some beating around the bush, he just outsaid it. He's just, we did it. We killed our parents. Now, the doctor has an opportunity to. The doctor does the first thing that I wouldn't have done, but I did feel was really smart at first. I was like, oh, that's really dope. He convinced Eric to go back to so they were at the park talking, by the way. So then he convinced Eric to go back to the office with him so that they could call his brother Lyle and have him come in. And then they just all talk about it. Let's just all sit around and talk about this. And he was able to convince both of those brothers that if they talked to him, that he couldn't talk to the police and the police couldn't ask him for anything and that they would be taken care of. He just wanted to help them by getting them to just tell him everything that happened so that he can walk them through their emotions to then get to the bottom of what was wrong. Motherfucker, y'all know this nigga just is a lying ass bitch. 1, 2, hold on. He's a lying ass bitch. 2, this motherfucker is exploiting these 2 kids, gentlemen. He's exploiting these 2 assholes to make like some kind of dissertation tape to explain how the mind of a parasite works, a parasital human being. By the way, what is a parasite? What is a parasital person? That is a person who commits homicide against their parents. Someone who kills their parents is a parasite. What? I didn't know that. Matter of fact, when I learn something, we gotta hit the button, okay? Okay? And you gotta learn something every day. Because if you're not learning something every day, you're not growing. Also, if you're not learning something every day, what are you doing with your life? All right, that's egregious. That's egregious. I'm done. I just really like that sound. But anyway. You want to know what these kids tried to say about their family? First thing they go to is, our father used to abuse us. Like, they get caught because they told on themselves with the therapist. But hold on, before I even go into what their alibi was and shit, yo, these kids, I'm gonna keep calling them kids. They wasn't kids, but these niggas, man, I'm trying not to call them niggas because I don't like calling Cubanos niggas. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of, I ain't gonna say that. You know what? This is the Bantha Bunch show. I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, man. A lot of Cubanos, at least in the Miami area, are what people call white facing. They are Cuban. They are like Hispanic, white facing. So they view themselves as white, or they're like, I guess if you were a black Latino or black Hispanic, you would be black facing. Latino, but black facing. I'm not making any of this up. This is what people say. I don't agree or disagree. I'm just here to inform, right? I am merely just the host. Make sure you like and subscribe if you're having fun. And if you're not having fun, please put it in the comments, because I can always use constructive criticism. But these kids are bold enough to accuse their parents of sexual abuse, mainly their father. They say that their father abused them both from the ages of 6 up until their graduating of high school. like I said, these guys are like 3-4 years apart. So there would have been a lot of time in between the two, right? A lot of time in the sense of being young. Well, about a quarter of the way through the third episode, I'm like, this sounds like bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, this sounds like some shit they just saying so they can get out of this shit. But as I said, man, this documentary was broken up into pieces of people's point of views, people's side of the story. And I feel very much like from episode 5, which I tell y'all, that's the episode that hits the hardest. After that, the line started blurring, the Venn diagram started Venn diagramming, and people started saying things that felt like I was now confused. Am I supposed to feel sympathy? But like, because they gave parenthetical evidence that that the father really was flexibly assaulting these kids, right? He really was like different outside of his, he was portraying a person that was not who he really was. And his behavior would lead you to believe that he is a sociopath. Now, his children clearly were sociopaths. These guys were some of the most arrogant asshole children that you've ever fucking seen. And a lot of the story, so when you go watch it, being that I know a lot about this shit already, like I knew most of the stuff in the documentary, bio-series, biopic, whatever you want to call it. I knew most of this shit that they showed. It still was very compelling and very gripping, very entertaining to watch. But the things that I didn't know only left me with more questions, right? And like I said, they show things from the point of view of everybody, but a lot of the information is gathered from the actual court case, from the evidence that was actually in the case, like interviews that they did with not witnesses, but people of interest that may have information that would provide avenues to come to a conclusion on the conviction or on the case, so they can make an indictment and then get a conviction, blah, blah, blah. But what I'm trying to say is these people had no idea that this would go as deep as it did. It seems like a pretty open and shut case once you actually get them arrested. They killed their parents. It's pretty open and shut. But this lady, damn, is her name Leslie Ambrose? Jessica Ambrose? I don't know. Somebody help me out with that. But I'm gonna have to start giving y'all producer credit. Shout out to Producer P. If you're wondering why you hadn't seen Producer Penny today, that's why. I can't get the light is all the way on the other side of the apartment / studio / building that we're in / music and coffee productions. And I ain't getting up. And that's how that works. But yeah, in the second part of the documentary, they go to show that the father, like, let me tell you like this, man. Let me get that like this. Them boys said that they daddy used to pop their cheeks and tell them that the reason he was doing it was to make them tougher, because that's what the Greeks did, because that's what the what do they call it, the Spartans did. He said the Spartans popped each other's cheeks, from young boys doing it to young men. I mean, young men doing it to young boys, popping each other's cheeks to have a camaraderie with each other that was like a bond. Like they loved each other. They showed each other they loved, and they became stronger by showing each other the pain, giving each other pain to make them stronger to be able to withstand it. Let me tell y'all something. I don't know who he heard that from, and I don't know if it's true or not. But if I ever heard that shit, I'm not listening to a goddamn thing that person says. I swear on my life, I'm calling the motherfucking police when this nigga show up. Oh God, you tell me what? You say that to me, and I'm going to just tell the police that you like fucking taking niggas' butt. That's what it sounds like. Pain should not be involved when you're having intimate relations with people, y'all. Not pain. And let's just say you're into some pain while you're having intimate relations. Let's just say, no, I'm not gonna yuck nobody's yum, right? Like, come on, no freaky. I'm not fucking with your freaky. Like, that's cool, but like, when you're saying you're trying to create enough pain that a person is going through this moment of intimacy, quote unquote intimacy, that describes deviant behavior and sociopathic behavior. So there was evidence, and well, when I say evidence, there was knowledge that Jose Menendez, the father, was sexually active outside of his marriage with not only females but also with male prostitutes. Oh, I guess that's that's not good for sororities. Hold on. Male flex workers. Ooh, male flex workers. That shit was not supposed to do that. I know I do that sometimes for aesthetic, but not today. Let's back on out. I want y'all to see this today. That's what I want y'all to see. But yeah, let me just go to the comments, man, because I'm wilding over here. Like, this is crazy. This whole story is crazy. Yeah. Okay. Sneaky. Here we go. Othelia says, swear all you had to be was white passing and at best decent looking, and you can literally get away with murder in this country. Yes, you didn't even have to be good looking, really. You didn't have to be decent looking. You just had to be like basically white, and you could get away with anything, especially if you were rich. Like if you and in that time in the 90s, we're talking about people who were murdering people. Remember the remember the fucktard that I said that killed the girl from the Poltergeist? Remember when I was talking about that? Well, that guy got 3 years for murdering that girl in the 90s. She was in a Steven Spielberg movie. Fame doesn't get you much of anything in Hollywood. Money and power do. And that's who gets off for these deals. And like, not even necessarily about getting off. Sometimes it's just about not getting life, right? Like, until that glove didn't fit, it was about trying to get OJ like a little bit of time. It just so happens they were able to get him off. They were going to get, he wasn't going to go to life. He wasn't going to go to prison for life though. And that's what black people celebrated, was that he was able to do the same thing that white people had been doing for a century. But they just, now everybody's getting to see it happen in real life. Now, if you agree with that or disagree with that, that's a whole nother thing. But that's what happened. That's history, you know? Dylan says, to Othelius's point, he said, as he should be, or as he would be, excuse me. Othelius said, therapist after the session, police, help, police, let me get the police. No, this bitch ass nigga did not call the police. He should have snitched, but he did not snitch. He got them to snitch on themselves, and then wasn't going to tell nobody until he got all of the data that he wanted to be able to write this new thesis, I guess, that he was planning on doing. But the girl, his side bitch that he was fucking, which was one of his patients, he implicated her in it, where the Menendez brothers ended up seeing her and she was panicking. So what did he do? He moved her in with them. He moved his bitch that he was fucking. He didn't stop fucking, but he moved her in to live with his family. And then the bitch tried to take over. She literally told this doctor, she told this doctor's daughter that she would be a better mom to her, basically. Like, she was going to replace her mama. So the doctor finally comes to his goddamn senses and kicked this bitch out the house. But when he does that, this bitch goes off and goes to the police and tells them about the tapes. So they go into the doctor's house, get the tapes. Now they are able to arrest the Menendez brothers, which is now what everybody's familiar with. Now, I did not realize that, being as somebody who is not actually close, like in Los Angeles proximity wise. I was living in Alabama at the time, so I didn't know any of that stuff. I mean, also I was like 7, so that helps. But that was a fact that surprised me, and he got them to tell on themselves going forward, and because that was on the tapes, they were able to take them to prison. I do not know if they used the tapes though. I feel like that I have to keep watching. Like I said, I haven't finished. Othelius also says that's a damn good therapist, then got killers to tell on themselves. His rates must have went through the roof after that. Yeah, man, if you talk about getting to the bottom of a situation, I got to all of their emotion. White passing Latinos, that's the term we're going to use on Drunk Banthas, at least from now on. Dylan said, I am not having fun. Yep, I agree. Question marks, and that's messed up. Yep. Look, for y'all who don't know, Dylan is hilarious and he is having fun, or she. I'm sorry. I've done this before, but Dylan is having fun. Don't y'all trip. We're kicking it in here. I just want to say shout out to everybody who's still watching. I do have one more topic that I wanted to talk about, but I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything with this show. Like I said, I haven't finished it. I really don't want to spill many more beans on it. What I'll basically get down to the nitty gritty is, though, because I'm deep off into the doc. I mean, no freaky. And it's not a doc. I keep saying that. It's a series. But if you're a bioseries person, you've seen bioseries, this is better than the Tupac and Biggie one. And this is better than, is it better than this is better than the FX OJ one with Cuba Gooding Jr. playing OJ, which, come on, right? That's a fucking terrible choice for OJ. Goddamn Radio. Y'all got Radio playing The Juice? He ain't nowhere near as big as The Juice. And I don't care how many short fucking actors you put around them. They don't look big. They don't make them look bigger. I don't know. That's just me. I ranted. That was my rant. That's the rant y'all get today. I mean, maybe I've just ranted this entire time. Is this show just me ranting? And if so, is that cool? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, this was a great documentary. I mean, biomentary thing. It was good. So check it out. I'm not done yet. Maybe, well, I know that, it's one of these things where the ending, so the ending sucks or it's good, however it goes. You just hope to see something new that you didn't see before. Let's see here. We've talked about Diddy. We've talked about McMahon. We've talked about these fucking monsters and the Menendez brothers, who I'm sure got the gas chamber. But the one thing we haven't talked about yet today is Mayor Eric Adams. Now, if you go look it up, Mayor Eric Adams has been in the news a lot lately, but he was in the news most recently today. And you know what? Why am I telling you what happened? I'll let the DA for the Southern District of New York City, you might recognize him because you just saw him last week with Diddy, giving you an entire breakdown of an indictment. Man, it must be a busy time over in the Southern District, Federal District of New York. Let's see what our buddy has to say. Oh, Penny, get out of here. Yeah, let's see what's going on in New York. Now, I don't cover this. I haven't covered this, but we do cover crazy mayors. And what was that name of that crazy mayor in Toronto? That's who Eric Adams reminded me of. Let's go here and let's see what's going on with this indictment.
My name is Damian Williams, and I'm the United States Attorney here in the Southern.
Damian Williams. I'm so sorry I forgot that. Damian Williams. Let's go.
District of New York. Today we are announcing campaign finance, bribery, and conspiracy charges against Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City. As the indictment alleges, Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations.
Now, oh man. Okay, so Eric Adams being accused of this right here. Now, what's important to realize about Eric Adams is he has been he is a pariah. You know what I mean? Like, he says some crazy stuff. We had a short up one time that said where it was a short that we had up where he was talking about some weed smokers going out there. He was having a press conference and he started talking about how it smelled like weed. Like, he does some crazy stuff, but he also awarded Puff Daddy with a key to the city during the hip hop 50-year anniversary celebration that they had last year, where they opened a hip hop museum. But anyway, that was a little context, and mostly it was also so they don't tell me I can't use this video, because if I don't give y'all a little love, a little education, then they'll tell me that I was, doing some copyright infringement. More you know. But come on, give us that shit.
As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal. And even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities.
Somebody let me know what opulent hotel rooms is. Put it in the comments. Y'all know I'm not looking it up, so don't even ask me to look it up. Just tell me what opulent means.
The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public.
He said duty.
Disclosure forms so that the public. Mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual.
He said duty.
Public disclosure forms. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms.
Okay, one more time.
So that the public. Mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege.
Yo, did somebody laugh when he said the mayor had a duty? Or was it just me?
So that the public could see who disclosed these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms. So that the public could see who.
Wait a minute. Was it a cough or was it a laugh?
These gifts on his annual in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what.
Okay, never mind. I don't know. Yeah.
But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them. We allege that Adams accepted these benefits knowing that they were given to him because of his position.
Now, I do want to keep going in a second, but I have to stop here just so we give some more, context, right? So yeah, for those who don't speak police, this nigga is getting hit with basically like campaign fraud and what they consider. This is one of them cases where if you're not letting yourself known or reporting yourself. So if, let's just say, Eric Adams takes that money and does what old buddy just said right here and reports it, right? And everybody knows that he got the money. The problem is he has to register that money and he has to register himself as a cooperative or an operative an asset of said contributor from a different country, in this case, Turkey. So in not doing that, you're left to assume, the Justice Department is left to assume, well, you're not doing that because you're doing something nefarious and you don't want it to be found out or tracked. And so now, why is he doing this? I don't know. Let's listen to the Southern District and tell us why.
And in exchange for some of those improper benefits, he intervened in the New York City Fire Department's inspection process for a building owned and operated by the Turkish government.
Okay, so for those who don't know, let's hold on. Put on your hats. Put on your hats. Anybody got a hat made of tinfoil? Because we got motherfucking things to talk about right now. So did you know that the fire chief of New York City he stepped down because he was under investigation and had his cell phones apprehended by the FBI as they are doing an investigation? This was a few months ago. So if this only happened a few months ago, guess what else happened a few months ago? Actually, it was a couple of weeks ago. New York City police chief, the third police chief in less than 3 years, stepped down as his phones were revoked or were apprehended by the FBI. And now the sitting police chief is an FBI agent, which, you know, is the FBI basically. The FBI is basically running New York City right now because they're able to find so much corruption. People all associated with Eric Adams, but Eric Adams ain't getting caught with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Until now. Until now. And do you know what that means? That means they got an investigation on your ass. And now they have cell phone records as well. They obtained his cell phone as well, Eric Adams' cell phone. But I mean, let's just keep going because we want to. This is like a real reaction video that we're doing. It's live, so it will not get monetized for the first 7 days of it being on our channel. So please go to both channels if you can and give us a like and a subscribe. It really helps our fucking channel. Like, you have no idea. We're on the bottom tier of YouTubers, even though y'all keep us at the top. Y'all know y'all. I love y'all. You know, y'all know I love y'all. But please, just show us some love in the comments and in the chat. And as y'all have been, but please give us a like and subscribe. But yeah, let's react to this and see what else he's got to say.
Allowing it to open even though it had not passed a fire inspection. Allowing it to open even though the building owned and operated by the Turkish government. Allowing it to open even though it had not passed a fire inspection. The corruption alleged in the indictment is, as I said, long running. As we allege in the indictment, Adams' solicitation of illegal campaign contributions began in 2018.
Okay. So 2018, Eric Adams has only been in office since 2020, if I'm not mistaken, or 2022, something like that. Yeah, 2022. He hadn't been in office that long. And so for him, this means that he was already under investigation during the election. I don't know if y'all noticed, but there was a pretty heated primary when Eric Adams was running. And then when he ended up running, like, in the actual election, it was extremely tense and extremely close. And there was like 6 people running for mayor of New York at the time or something like that. Lot of drama behind it, but nobody was a better, I will say this, no one looked better performance-wise when it comes to running for an election. And that just speaks to the weakness of the nominee. And that can happen a lot of times just because it can happen a lot of times just because you don't have a big stock of choices, or because certain people just are being assholes and keeping people down, y'all like to keep the black man down, you know?
After he started raising funds for his 2021 mayoral campaign, he agreed to take contributions offered by multiple Turkish businessmen, several of whom he met in Turkey. Adams knew that these wealthy individuals could not legally donate in a U.S. election. Federal law clearly prohibits foreign donations. That's how we protect our elections from foreign influence. Yet Adams directed his staff to pursue this illegal money to support his campaign.
Now, when they say he directed his staff to do that, that means that they are also implicated in this crime. I want y'all to let me know, do y'all think that, excuse me, I'm going to let this keep playing, but I want y'all to let me know, do y'all think that Eric Adams is a clown and deserves to go to jail for this? Or, I don't think he's even told. You know what? I didn't let him get to the good part. I'm sorry.
For mayor. And as we allege, Adams continued to pursue foreign money in secret well into 2021. And it didn't stop with his first campaign for mayor. As we allege, in 2023, the mayor rekindled these corrupt relationships, seeking more illegal campaign contributions from some of the same foreign sources to support his re-election campaign. Adams also took contributions that broke other laws. As we
Goddamn.
allege, he sought contributions from businessmen far in excess of what the law allowed. He also
Let's read this here. Adams undisclosed travel benefits. India via Turkey. Free upgrade to business class. 2 on round trip from New York to India. Paid for by the Turkey. $12,000 undisclosed. So he didn't report this money that he received. That they are able to, let me tell you something about financial crime in the Southern District. For those of you who don't know, the Southern District does prosecute federal crimes through the state of New York. And they go after white collar crimes 90% of the time, and murders and whatnot, but white collar crimes 90% of the time. They have like a 98% conviction rate or 99% conviction rate. That is who arrested Diddy, and that's who Diddy's trial will fall under the jurisdiction of. And if you're still not familiar, if you're like, man, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. If you're a fan of Billions, the show Billions, Paul Giamatti's character plays the district attorney for the Southern District. So Paul Giamatti's character is this black guy right here that you guys see on my left. He's on my left, but for y'all, it's my right. But anyway, it's this guy right here. He's Paul Giamatti. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
also allegedly sought contributions from corporations, which are not allowed to contribute at all in New York City elections. Many of those illegal corporate contributions were organized by the same people who organized the illegal foreign contributions. And Adams allegedly disguised them all in the same way by accepting the money through so-called straw donors. A straw donor contributes someone else's money, hiding the money's illegal source, such as a foreign businessman, a corporation, or a wealthy New Yorker who has already contributed the maximum amount allowed.
Did you hear that?
And as we allege, Adams circumvented all of these laws, taking contributions from exactly the sources the law prohibits.
He said there's 4 laws that you gotta agree to. He broke them all. This nigga's an overachiever. He's there's this. Hey, if there was 200 laws that you cannot break, this nigga broke them all. Never lost.
All to benefit his mayoral campaigns. Now, Adams also personally benefited from the illegal conduct alleged in the indictment.
Who wouldn't suspect him for this? How does a cop, like this guy was an ex-cop for, I don't even care if you were a cop for 30 years. You did not make enough money to run for mayor of anything. You didn't make enough money. Even if he saved his entire lifetime of his working career and never spent a dime, he still wouldn't be able to run for mayor like off of that. Film Age says NYC is Gotham. Even the firefighters are corrupt. Laugh out loud. Oh man. Yeah. This is up Film Age's this is up your alley, Film Age. We got a corrupt mayor. This dude could be your father-in-law. You know what I mean? If y'all know, Film Age is in love with the mayor from Springfield, Illinois? I forgot where it is in Illinois, but the terrible female mayor in Illinois, he's in love with her. We trying to get her on the show, and we're trying to get her to holler at our boy. We'll see if any of it works. But Eric Adams.
Adams solicited and accepted over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits for years from wealthy Turkish business people and at least one Turkish government official seeking to gain influence over him.
What the fuck does he have to go to Turkey for anyway? I mean, India. What are you going to? He's a fuck. This is 2017, 2018. When the absolute hell is basically like a super cop going to China and France and Hungary? What are you going to Hungary for? You're a fucking New York City cop. Like, I bet you the population of Turkish and Hungarian people who live in New York is less than 1%. I guarantee it. Like, I guarantee it. That's so weird. I'm pretty sure that's weird. Put it in the comments or in the live chat. Like, I don't know, man. I just got it.
Adams started accepting undisclosed luxury travel benefits at least as early as 2016. He took these benefits nearly every year through 2021. Here are some of the benefits that we uncovered during our investigation. In 2016, Adams flew to India through Turkey and received 2 free round-trip upgrades for business class seats.
Let me tell you something. Man. If you never flew business class, that's it. That shit's fresh. You know what I'm saying? Business class is dope. Like, you get you some first class tickets, I ain't mad at that. That's a good, you know what? Your first time you sticking your toe in, you know what I'm saying? Your first taste of corruption. It's international, cuz, you know what I mean? Like, I just retired and shit. I might take that. Am I going to run for mayor when they find it? Nah. Like, if I'm doing this much shit, I'm not running for mayor. That's how I look at it. But you got to launder your money somehow, people. And that's what this is all about now. This is about laundering money. Trust me. Like, not laundering money, but this is about taxes. This is how they get you.
That's the highest class on Turkey's national airline. Those upgrades were worth more than $12,000, and none of it was publicly disclosed. In 2017, Adams accepted free business class tickets for himself and his travel companions to France, Turkey, and China. And he was put up in the Bentley suite in the St. Regis Hotel in Istanbul. All of that was worth more than $41,000.
We seen this. I've basically explained this. I'm trying to get to a very specific part of this indictment. I have the indictment pulled up here, just so you guys know that I'm not bullshitting. I have the indictment pulled up here, but unfortunately, I haven't been able to go through the entire thing. And there is a portion of this document that shows where he took some of the money that he took was from, it was from, like he said, there was straw donors who were basically middlemen for the money coming in from Turkey or anywhere else that it could have came from. One of the straw donors was an executive who was a real estate owner, a real estate executive in New York City, who gave him one of those straw donations for, I can't remember how many millions of dollars or whatever. I can't remember how much it was, but all I know is it was a straw donation. in which he was paid to look the other way on the construction or code being held up to code on the building. So basically the building could just be built like out of sticks, out of lollipop sticks and shit. And the real estate CEO would not be held liable, right? The company, the real estate company just wouldn't be held liable because, you know, shit happens and I got to deal with the mayor who says that. But crazy thing is that building actually did burn down and they actually did have people who were displaced, lives that were ruined. This place did have a tragedy take place. So, I mean, this shit. Oh, I'm trying not to laugh. Phil May said, Papa Adams, laugh out loud. Papa Adams, y'all can go visit Papa Adams and, you know, he'll be in one spot for the first time since 2017. Jesus Christ. I'm just trying not to have to read everything that he just said, but it's a lot of stuff about Turkish airline. You heard about the Bentley suite bedroom. This is the Bentley suite bedroom. Okay. Can we just say one thing right now, though? Why can't we? It's 2024. The government has the worst shit. Like they got all this technology for the Pentagon and weapons and war, but we can't get a fucking inkjet over there at the feds. Can we get the Southern District an inkjet printer and a budget for colored ink? Because this is whack-a-doodle dandy. This makes the Bentley suite look like a 1984 Valentine's Day motel that you get somewhere. Like this looks like the hotel out of Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. Now, I mean, like this looks like a brothel bathhouse thing. This looks like a bathhouse. Y'all know what I'm talking about? With the men's being with the men's, and it's just boys being boys. Shout out to Abba and Preach, by the way. It's just boys being boys. Just boys being boys. Yeah, this is all. So if you don't know why it's important for him to disclose all this money situation, it's about having countries outside, you know, people who are, it's about having countries having interest in our election and trying to motivate how people, politicians, will make decisions when it comes to foreign policy or domestic policy that affects foreigners or foreign businesses. Excuse me. That makes it like an international team, man. Like it makes this a situation where it could cause sanctions against Turkey as well as a deeper dive. You see, they said that his staff was helping him accomplish some of these goals. There's no way you can help him cover this up without knowledge of what you're covering up. So you're being complicit in these acts, which basically can put them in a RICO situation once they've gathered enough evidence. So it's crazy for New York right now. Y'all have had the craziest fucking month. Like I said, the police chief stepped down, and then you had the goddamn fire chief step down. That's some wild shit. I don't think we've had a week on this show. Oh, sorry, hold on. I gotta move. This thing be creaking, man. Y'all hear that? This shit be creaking. And it's crazy because Alex's don't creak. It's so weird. It's so weird. But that's why y'all hear me go mute sometimes. Or go mute sometimes. Go on mute sometimes. I'm just letting y'all know right now. The theory is we're gonna be at. I'm sorry, I'm just randomly jumping into this, but we are gonna be at Comic-Con in Los Angeles, California, October the 4th. Come on out and show some support. If you know somebody in LA, tell them that we are going to be out there. Come and see us. Even if they're right there on the front outside where you can't get in, tell them to come see us. Tell them we'll be out there. Send us a message on Instagram or whatever, and we'll come out and hang out and chat. You'll see me in this, and you'll see Alex in costume. He'll be Cyclops, actually. I'm just gonna tell you. He'll be Cyclops. He'll be in full costume. It's gonna be awesome. We're gonna be talking to people, doing interviews. We're gonna be talking to fans, getting information from the insiders. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be connecting with some people, hopefully bumping into some friends, because we got some friends who are supposed to be there. It's a big fucking event, obviously, and it's 3 days. So Friday, 3 days. Lot to be. Hopefully they'll be dropping some trailers or something. We'll get in there and get it going. Tell us what you want us to ask people, and you can tweet it to us and at drunk _Banthas on Twitter, and then just drunk Banthas on Instagram and everything else, likewise, and all that stuff. So make sure you go check that out. We got, if you can't make it to Comic-Con, we're gonna definitely have all that content for you. Might even go live so that you guys can hang out with us. I'm going to take one more shot of water because it's unfortunately time to get up out of here. I mean, I've had a lot of fun. One day I'm going to remember to do the timestamps for the Bantha Bunch. I just always forget because I'm just having too much fun with y'all, and I don't feel like stopping and putting a timestamp on this thing. But today was a good day. We talked about some of the worst people in the world, and we managed to have fun doing it. I mean, if it can't do that, you can't do that anywhere else. And if you can, please tell me where, because I will watch that. I, too, enjoy content that is similar to what you guys enjoy. And that's why we get along, you know what I'm saying? You are a Bantha too. And you can actually be a Bantha if you go on over and join the membership on Bantha Bunch. On the Drunk Banthas channel. You can join us. Just hit the join button and become a member. And we got all the content over there for you that's going to be early before everybody else gets it. And also, we got content that's just for you. Breakdowns on movies, television shows, and just some top 10s. Fun ass shit going on over there. Trust me. And some lives that are members only, too. We're going to be doing more members only lives. But yeah, come on over and hang out with us. And if you can't, just make sure you hit the like and subscribe button so that the YouTube algorithm keeps latching us onto you and we ride your coattails as we go down the web hole that's called YouTube. Man, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with y'all every fucking Thursday, guys. Every Thursday right here at 7 p.m. Pacific time. 7:15-ish, I always say, because that's what we do. I mean, I'm sorry. But if you know, you know. We on CPT time over here. Now, like I said, You can find me here at 7 p.m. Pacific time on Thursdays, but you can find me on Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific time every Monday with my brother, Jedi Master Grayson. I never know how to end this because I love hanging out with y'all so much. But shout out to Dylan Smith. Shout out to Murda. Shout out to Othelius. Shout out to Film Age. Shout out to Lil Frothy. Shout out to all the racist comments that was in there earlier. And all the donators, man. Everybody who donated. Dylan, El Diablo, and what's his name? Oh, there we go. Takedown DDT. We start talking about WWE and then people come in with wrestling names. That's crazy. Yeah, y'all have a great fucking night, man. I really can't do this without you. It's been a pleasure. My name is Bill, your favorite cousin's favorite cousin, and we are out of here.
Go outside, nerd. Get out. Go. I ain't got time to be distracted by your worthless chime-ins. Go.